call, a live one from home base, slightly different location. We got friends and family over for Christmas, so I had to move the home base, the office for a few days while they're here. But we are here. We're here in home base. It's a live stream. I've got good internet. It is good to finally be back. It's good to finally be in a place where I can record live. We can have this dialogue back and forth, and I can drop the information I really need to do. This will allow me to do the live copy review calls. This will allow me to do the live mental training that I've promised for the, I believe, the Eagle Legion. This is an opportunity for me to really dive in and work hard, which is exactly what I wanted. I was recording as much as possible while I was in this other location. I've been traveling. It took me about 3 days to get back. Things have been great, but I'm here. I'm back. I'm back in home base, and we are ready to go with today's live morning power-up calls. We're going to do live calls again. We're going to move back to the normal time. It's a little bit later today. It took me a little bit of time to get this set up, but we are set up. We are live, and we are ready to go. If you are here in the chat and you see me, just put a 1 or something. Just put something in the chat. That way I can know that everything's working. That way I can know the audio is set up working. I want to make sure that you guys are able to see this and get the most out of it. So we'll wait for a second, see if there's anybody in the chat at all, and then we'll dive in. There's usually a slight delay. So the way today's call is going to work is I have some content. Okay, we got some people. We've got some content that I'm going to be delivering, and then I'm going to be answering questions. I'll do a live Q&A for like 20, 30 minutes afterwards so we can go through and get those questions answered. So I'm going to be sharing today a little piece of content, so an approach that's going to be worked into the bootcamp. This is kind of an announcement. I'm going to show you guys this principle. I'm going to teach you guys this thing. It's going to be worked into stage 1 of the very beginning of the bootcamp, and it's going to be worked into your legions. It's something that's going to be massively game-changing for you guys as you go through the program. Someone said this is the first live. Welcome. This is the first live call for you to attend. Just so you know, what we do here is we have these morning power-up calls, and we do them every day. And sometimes it's a slightly different time if I'm in a different location or whatnot, or different things going on. But usually it's the same time, same place. Do these live calls where I share key insights, key mindsets, key things that are going to help you progress through the bootcamp faster, progress through the Legion faster, and get to making your first money faster. And then post that, then once you made your first money, to upgrade those clients, hit that 10K a month, and then move to the higher scale forms of copywriting where you're an agency owner or you're a partner in their business, et cetera, et cetera. So it's good to have everybody back. It's good to be back. It's good to be back in home base. It feels good. It's exactly where I've always wanted to be. I like traveling. I like going out and doing the world conquering thing. It's an important part of my life. However, I do enjoy getting back to home base and getting to work in the sort of controlled environment. Your environment's really important, right? Your environment affects how you're able to think, and it affects what you're able to do. Your environment is extremely key. Like you can be a stud and overcome your environment, right? If you're in a place where it's difficult to work, for example, I was on the road for 2 weeks. And it wasn't ideal, but that didn't let it affect what I actually did. It's just nice. It's a nice to have to be back in home base. So with that being said, I'm going to launch today's content. I'm going to tell you guys what I brought you all here to talk about. It's an idea. It's an approach. It's something I want you guys to start using in your day-to-day life as you go through this program. What I don't want to happen, I don't want any of you to wake up in the program and think, I don't know what I need to do today. I don't know if I should do this or that. I don't know if I need to if I should do outreach today, if I should practice, if I should do this part of the bootcamp. I don't want any of you guys to ever question that. If you've ever found yourself wondering what to do, that means that you've wasted a lot of time, right? Knowing what to do should be really easy to solve. Once you figure that out, then it's just about getting it to work. I'd rather you feel overwhelmed than confused, right? I'd rather you feel like, man, I've got so much I need to do, rather than I don't know what I need to do, right? It's a better place to be in if you know what you need to do, and it's just a lot of work, right? And that's the thing. Going through the boot camp, developing the skill to become a world-class copywriter, finding and landing clients is a lot of work. You're going to be working a lot, right? When I'm awake, I'm working isn't an understatement. When I'm awake, I'm working. There's always things I need to do. I've got so many things on my list. I have that low-grade sense of anxiety all the time. And it's fine. I like being stressed out. I get excited when I'm stressed out. It means that I'm moving forward. I'm doing good things. So I want to clear it up for you guys. I want to give you guys a daily checklist, something you need to do every single day if you want to become the best you possibly can be. Now, there's 2 versions of it. There's one for if you're in your boot camp, and then there's one if you've made it through the boot camp and you're into the Legion side of things. But I'm going to give you a daily checklist that if you do these things every day, you will progress through the program as quickly as possible, develop a skill as quickly as possible, and get paid as quickly as possible. This is the end all be all. This is the daily checklist. If you do this, you're going to win. If you don't do these things every day, you're not going to get optimal results. And a lot of you guys that haven't gotten optimal results, when I read out this daily checklist, you'll be like, it's because I didn't do that every single day, right? Now, some of you guys are in slightly different situations. Some of you might only have an hour a day. Some of you might have like 6 or 7 hours a day. You need to adapt this to your own ability, but these are the things you should be doing every single day. You should be able to do this almost no matter how much time you have, right? So I'm going to go through, I'm going to read the daily list, and I want you guys to copy this down. I'm going to be adding this into either the start here, that intro chat, or the day one chat. So you guys will all be able to have this. I want you to physically check these off every single day, right? I want you to go in with a piece of paper, write them out, and cross them off every single day. These are your goals. These are your to-do list. And if you get these done, you're going to win. So if you're in the boot camp, if you're going through the boot camp, this is your daily list. Step number 1, you need to watch the daily morning power up call, right? So either watch it live or watch the replay. You might be in a place where you can't watch it. And you need to watch these daily calls every single day. And there's a huge reason for that. When you're going through the boot camp, the worst thing that could possibly happen is for you to feel alone and demotivated. One of the easiest ways to feel connected and to feel motivated is to join these daily power up calls, because I'm here. You get to talk with me. We get to communicate via the chat. We get to talk and we go back and forth. You're joining with thousands of other students across the globe, all in one place. We all sit together and we all focus our minds with pure intent on the goal at hand. And I feed you guys energy and I feed you guys ideas. It's extremely important that you attend these calls every day. If you can make it live, do it. If you can't make it live and you have to catch the replay, that's better. But you need to watch these every single day. Also, I drop insight and knowledge, things that I know you guys need based on what I see in the chats. I'm always in the chats. We're going through answering the professor questions, checking out the other chats. I'm extremely responsive to the Ask Professor Anything channel. I'm able to cover those every day. I might not be able to cover all the questions, some of the other ones, the way things are structured right now, but I make sure everyone that asks me a question in that dedicated channel gets answered. So I take the information I learned from that, and that's how I decide what I'm going to talk about. It sparks energy, it sparks ideas, and that's what I share here. So step number 1, every single day, you need to watch the daily power up calls, because it'll give you the energy, the motivation, and the sense of like brotherhood and belonging that you need to progress. So step number 1, watch the daily power up call. Step number 2, watch the videos from your stage in the boot camp, right? This is extremely simple. You just watch the videos and you take notes as you go. Watch the videos. I don't share the slides. I want you guys to take notes. I want you guys to follow the note-taking method where you watch the whole thing and then you write down what you remember. You remember the highlights. It'll train your brain to start recording that information and storing it in your brain. So step number 2, watch the videos for that stage. You should be able to go do 1 stage a day at a bare minimum. If you do multiple stages per day, then you have to do all these tasks per stage, right? You have to watch all the videos. So watch the videos, take notes. The next thing you do is you do that stage's mission. So each stage has a mission. Some of you guys go through and you just watch the videos and think that you got it. Copywriting is about learning stuff into your brain. It's what you're able to produce. That's what the skill, what actually matters. You think thoughts, but you have to be able to produce things. Each stage has a mission, a task that you have to do, whether it's writing an email or doing some research or something. There's a task you need to do. So after you've watched the video, the next thing you have to do every single day is do the mission for that task. It's extremely important. If you're not doing the mission, you're going to fail. You have to do the mission. After you do the mission, then you take the quiz at the end. There's a little quiz, real quick, just to make sure that you actually paid attention to the videos. You take the quiz, boom, you're going to move on to the next stage. The next thing you do is you need to help other students in the stage chats. So either that first stage that you just did, you can go back and help people. There are people going to ask questions. They're going to post copy for review. If you've already done that stage, you can go back and help them. And you should take some time every single day, even if it's 5 minutes, to answer questions and review copy, because by helping other people, it ingrains those lessons in your brain significantly more, right? The more copy you review, the more people you help, the better you will learn. It's extremely important. If you don't do this, you won't learn as well as those who do. If you don't learn as well as those who do, you won't be as successful as them, and you're going to lose in the competition of life. You need to do this if you want to be your most competitive self. You need to take some time every day, go back to the stage chats, and help your fellow students. A lot of you guys wish that you got your copy reviewed. If you spend more time reviewing your copy, I guarantee you'll get your copy reviewed by other people. So make sure every single day you spend at least 5 minutes going back and helping people in the chats. And then the other thing you need to do at some point throughout your day is you need to do 100 push-ups. It's part of the course. That's basic. Everyone can do 100 push-ups, 10 sets of 10 throughout your day. Easy. There's no excuse. But developing that physicality, obviously you should do like bigger sets if possible. but you should at least do 100 every day. It's not going to disrupt your other training. It's going to be just enough, but it's going to keep you physical. It's going to keep the blood pumping. It's keep your brain learning, and it's going to help you develop that physicality so that you can have the confidence you need to be successful as a copywriter, successful on your sales calls, et cetera, et cetera. That's it. That's what you need to do every single day. It's not a huge list. There's a lot of work on that list, but it's an important list. You do this every single day, and you're going to win. I'm going to read them again. Watch the daily morning power-up call. Watch the videos from the stage in the boot camp. Do that stages mission. Take the stages quiz. Help other students in the stage chats, and then do 100 push-ups. 7 things. You do those every single day. You're going to progress through the program steadily, successfully, and you're going to actually develop the skills, and you're going to win, right? It's extremely important. If you miss out on any of those things on the list, you should feel deep shame because everyone can do those every single day. If you got an hour, 2 hours, you should be able to do that every single day. So that's for those of you who are in the boot camp. Let me check the chat, make sure you guys heard all that stuff. All right, cool. Excellent. So, making your bed's not as important as you think it is. You should, though. You should be clean. You should be a clean person. All right, so let's go to the next one. So this is for if you're in a legion. Now, your legion commanders might add some extra things. They might change a few things here. I've given them discretion to do that, to run their legions as they best see fit, because that's what helps them be the best leaders possible. But these are the basic things you need to do as a student inside of a legion, right? And I'm going to give you some numbers. You might have to change some of the numbers depending on the time you have, but this is what you need to do every single day. Number 1, first step, watch the daily morning power-up calls. Extremely important. Again, for the same exact reasons, you need this information. It's the most relevant, up-to-date thoughts that I have, and those thoughts are connected to the energy inside the chats. It's the stuff that you need right now. Plus, it's the energy. Plus, it's the sense of belonging. Extremely important. Watch the morning power-up call. The second thing you need to do is you need to find prospects every day, right? You need to find usually at least 40 every day. You're going to need 40 to run your tests. You need to take that time, do the grind, find prospects, right? Now, it might be a little more difficult for you. You might have to learn how to get up to 40. Your numbers might be slightly different depending on the time that you need to do, but you need to take some time every day to prospect. If you don't prospect every day, if you're not collecting leads every day, you're going to run out of leads. You're not going to be able to run the tests you need. You need to be prospecting every single day. After that, you need to send your daily emails, your outreach emails. You need to send them. And they should be in the form of a test, right? Until you've got your emails dialed in, you should be sending tests. You should be sending one version and another version, maybe 20 here and 20 here, and seeing which one performs. You need to be doing that every single day. If you're not doing your outreach every single day, you're not going to be successful, right? You need to do the outreach no matter how many appointments you have in your schedule, no matter how many clients you have on your book. You need to always be doing outreach. The numbers might go up and down depending on where you're at, but no matter what, until you have your first client, you should be doing at least 40 outreaches a day where you're running a test. 20 here, 20 there. 20, like to get your open rates, maybe you do sets of 10, but you should do 20 with this subject line, 20 with that one, and see which one gets you the best ones until you get to 80. And then after that, you should test out different email messages. So you have the same subject line, but test out different email messages, 20 here and 20 there, until you're able to iterate your way to one that is giving you a 10% positive reply rate, right? You need to be doing that every single day. Weekends, it doesn't matter. Just send a follow-up in 24 hours, and they'll still see it, right? You need to be doing this every single day. Christmas, doesn't matter. 20 here, 20 there. Do your test every single day. After you send your daily emails, you need to create free value from those replies. So you're going to get replies back, and you need to create the free value if you're doing free value. Even if you're not doing free value, or even if no one responds back, you should take time to create at least one piece of free value for your clients, for your prospects. Whether that's an email sequence or a sales page update or Facebook ads or captions, whatever you choose to do, you need to take some time every day, about an hour, and create at least one piece of free value. If someone responds back and you send it over, great, that's awesome. But even if they don't respond, just make it for one of them, the favorite one on that list, and send it to them anyways, right? The next day, hey, I just went ahead and decided to send it over to you. Here you go, right? Because at least that way you're going to get some time to practice. Like, you need to practice your copywriting skills every single day. It's extremely important, right? But it's best if you get paid for it. This way, the work that you do at least gives you the chance of continuing the conversation and having a client as a result, right? If you just write copy for a made-up company, it doesn't do you any good. Like, sure, maybe you'll learn a little bit, but if you use it with a specific company, your practice quality will be better. Plus, you can use it as sales material to potentially land them as a client. So you need to write at least one piece of free value, which might mean a few pieces of copy every single day. The other thing you need to do is you need to review other students' copy in your Legion. So inside of your Legion, you guys all have a copy review channel. There's always people posting copy that they want to review. Again, one of the fastest ways that you can develop your skills is to review other people's copy and help other people. I'm not joking. That is one of the things that helped me. I spend a significant amount of my time reviewing other people's copy, other people that are kind of on the same level as me or below me. And it allowed me to rapidly progress my skills, right? Light years faster than if you're just doing it by yourself. So you need to take some time, even if it's 5-10 minutes every day, to go and review the copy inside of your Legion. It will be extremely helpful for you and extremely helpful for them. It's extremely important, right? After you review copy every day, you need to sit down and analyze the results of your most recent test and think of improvements. You need to figure out why something worked or why something didn't work. You need to come up with a hypothesis and plan out your next test for the next day. You'll say, okay, so I think that the problem was this compliment was kind of vague. So I'm going to create 2 new versions where I do a compliment this way and I do a compliment that way. I'm going to see which one gives me better results, right? Every single day, you need to analyze the work that you do. You need to go through that OODA loop with your email outreach and figure out what's a new test I can run, what's a new improvement I can test out tomorrow on my next set of outreach. It's extremely important. It doesn't have to be a crazy change. You have to completely throw everything out. Sometimes you might, but you need to take some time every single day to identify a way that you can improve. Some of you students come in here and you come up with a thing, you take copy and paste the template, maybe change 1 or 2 words, and then you send 300 emails and wonder why you don't get any results. You need to be constantly iterating through this process. Every 20 emails, you should be sending a new version of your email body message. That way you can iterate faster, you can test different versions against themselves, and you can find one that wins. You need to be doing this every single day. You need to be thinking of a way to improve your outreach, a new test you can run. And the other thing you need to do is you need to do 100 push-ups. Again, for the same exact reason. You need to keep your physicality up, you need to keep the blood pumping, you need to keep your brain going, and you need to just have the discipline of doing 100 push-ups every day. I don't care what training program you're on, you can do 100 push-ups every day on top of that. It's extremely important. I do 100 push-ups every day plus my normal training on top of it, right? At the very, very minimum, I'm doing 100 push-ups every day, and you guys should too. And that's it. Now, your Legion commanders might have something slightly different. They might add a few things. They might take a few things off, but those are the things you need to check off every single day. And again, those lists will be inside of your Legions. Your Legion commanders will be asking you every day, hey, did you complete your list? And you'll be able to say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. If you did it, you should feel pride. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm exactly where I need to be. If you don't, you should feel shame. You should feel guilt. This is an easy list. I mean, it's not an easy list. It's a difficult list. It's a simple list. Everyone can do it. You have it within your capacity to do this every single day. And if you want to be as successful as possible, you're going to do it. If you don't do it, that means you're obviously your head isn't in the game. You need to get in. You need to feel the guilt, feel the pain, and then fix it the next day. You need to make sure it happens every single day. So I want you guys to all physically write these out and cross them off every single day. If you do this daily list, like I've just laid out for you, every single day, you will progress significantly faster. It will take the time that it takes you to be successful and land your first client, and will shrink it massively. This list is designed to take you from long time to success to faster time to success because of the consistency you need to do every day. This is life. This is going to be your life for the rest of your life. You're going to have tasks every single day that you need to do to be successful, and you need to make sure you do those every single day. If you do them every day, it compounds. It turns you into a monster, a beast. This is how you become an obsessed. I had tasks every single day that I did as I was a copywriter on my way up. This is how I applied my obsession, and it's how I became a successful copywriter as quickly as I did. You guys need to do the same thing. If you're disciplined and dedicated, you will make this work. It will be a powerful, powerful thing for you. All right, let's take a look. Oh, cool. Lou dropped $5 in the chat. So if you haven't joined the real world already, don't wait on January 1st. Everything changes except the call to break free from the matrix before it's too late. That's right. Got a ton of new content I'm releasing. There's updates to the entire platform. If you guys are out of the program, if you're just seeing this, you haven't joined yet, if you're someone who was in the program and isn't now, you guys need to get back in. We've got some crazy powerful things for you guys in there. So excellent. So we've got some questions. Let's move now to the question and answer portion of this. I'm not going to be able to answer everyone's question. I'm going to do my best to answer them in the order they're asked. We're going to spend as long as the sand timer is on questions. So we're beginning now. So ask your questions in the chat, and I will answer them as best as I possibly can. Someone asked what my list is. It changes every day. At this stage, it's a little more variable than what you guys have, but I definitely train every day. I definitely do my work every single day. I definitely work on important relationships every single day. Someone asked, should I get a sword? Of course, bro. You need a sword. Everyone needs a sword. What kind of man doesn't have a sword? You need a sword. If possible, get yourself a sword. Obviously, be safe with it. Don't hurt yourself. Don't leave it where people that could hurt themselves can mess with it. But yes, you need a sword. All right. What other questions do we have? When you review other people's copy, should you only correct where is wrong, or can I also study what they do good, break it down, and do it myself? Yes, you can do both. You can give them feedback on things they can improve, or you can say, I really like this thing that you did here. I'm going to steal it and use it for my own stuff. 100%. What's my opinion on DM outreach? It's a fantastic method. You guys should be testing on different methods of reaching out. Like cold email is still very valuable and will have some serious advantages over other things. But social media DMs on all the platforms is valuable. Some of you guys are doing stuff with SMS, cold calling, even for local clients. Test out different methods. Yeah. How do I get, and I talk a little bit about this in the advanced influence content that I dropped inside of the courses a while back, which gives you guys the next level. If you're in a Legion and you haven't watched the advanced influence content, you're way behind. You got to go back and watch that. So, all right, what else do we got? How do I get rid of brain fog? Brain fog would be something a little bit different. When I try to come up with niches, okay, I need to know more about what you're currently running into when you're coming up with niches. There's a lot of ways to think about it. You can think about it from the top down or from the bottom up. A lot of people think about the big three and then dive down beneath that. They take some time and say, okay, if I'm in the health side, we can talk about physical training. We can talk about nutrition. We can talk about medical stuff. We can talk about medical devices. We can talk about age like rejuvenation policy. You can look at all sorts of different things and you can branch down. That's one way. One thing that a lot of people do if they're kind of stuck is they go online and just Google like 1,000 niches, and it'll give you a whole bunch of things. Some are perfect for us, some are completely not, but it usually will spark some ideas and help you get started. So that's what I recommend when people have an issue coming up with the niches. What YouTube creators' websites are good for outreach research? Honestly, your outreach research, you're going to learn more for focusing on what's happening inside of the campus, what's happening inside of your legions, and just iterating by yourself. Creativity, you don't really want to be like everyone else. You want to be like yourself, right? You need to be unique. And I talk about this in the advanced influence content. And a lot of that's going to come down to your ability to perspicaciously look at your outreach, and think outside of the box. Think new, think different. So I recommend you focus your time inside of your legion, inside of the campus, because that's what's going to give you the biggest benefit. When you hit a roadblock, how do you get past it? You find a way to win. Like, you're going to run into roadblocks all throughout your life. Everyone runs into roadblocks repeatedly, right? What you have to do is you need to calm yourself emotionally. You need to believe that you can find a way to win. And you need to start thinking about options. You need to think of what's the limiting factors. What are some things outside of the box you can do? What resources have you can bring to bear to defeat this? You just look at the roadblock and you figure out the solution. You find what you need to do. And usually it's hard work, and usually it's difficult, and usually it's going to cause you to expand. You're going to have to acquire new abilities. And then you just do it, right? You just find the work you need to do. So many people are stuck when they see a roadblock because they're afraid or lazy. If you have any level of courage, any level of bravery in yourself, you're going to be able to overcome it. If you have any level of intelligence and perspicacity, you can think outside of the box to do it. If you have any level of dedication, you can figure out how to just do the work you need to do to succeed. Getting rich and making money is difficult. It's going to take you a lot of time and energy, and there's going to be a lot of roadblocks. It's going to cause you mental stress, strain. It's going to force you to invest brain calories. It's going to be difficult. Embrace that difficulty and just find a way to win. Hi, Andrew. Do you recommend us on a marketing diet in one of the videos? What accounts should I follow to enter the diet? Your Legion commanders actually talked with me a little bit about that when we were going back and forth. They have some suggestions you guys should follow. Really quickly, some things that are really helpful for you guys when you're trying to increase your you need to make sure your newsletters, that you're signing up to good ones online, preferably inside of your niche, right? You can go follow copywriters, but copywriters are going to talk to copywriters way differently than marketers are going to talk to consumers. And you need to focus on that type of copywriting. So you're going to want to go out and you want to find good companies inside of your niche that you can model and copy. You're going to want to find them and focus on what they're doing. You want to, as far as books go, I usually recommend that people don't read books. Most people spend their time reading books instead of actually doing the work they need to succeed. So if you have any free time after checking these things off your list, there's a few books that you should read if you haven't already. One of those is How to Win Friends and Influence People. Classic book from back in the day. Extremely helpful for helping you understand your personal relationships. Extremely useful. And then $100 Billion by Alex Hormozi is another really, really good one. And the .com series by Russell Brunson are other good ones. But you should only do those after you finish those checklist things. If you don't do the things in your daily checklist, you shouldn't spend a single second reading. Action is what's going to change your life. Consuming information isn't going to change your life. Action is what changes your life. So doing those things on the daily checklist are 1,000 times more important than consuming any information, because as you do the things on the checklist, you'll learn so much faster than if you're just consuming information. Trust me, as a man, and that's one of the things that I've overcome in my life. As a young man, I was hyper-focused on consuming information over action. Right? I read a lot. I've got a huge library. I've read a lot of books. And I use that information that I have, right? It's not like that's just all thrown away. But in my mid-20s, I realized that I had a tendency to run away into books and run away into consumption instead of focusing on doing the work I needed to do. So I switched the way I approach it. I only read books when I need to learn a very specific skill. right? If I only go out and find information when I've run into a limitation of my action, and I know that an outside resource will help me learn faster. That's how I've done everything since then. I don't read for fun anymore. I read for purpose. If I have a specific purpose I need to solve, and there's a resource, an information resource, that's when I purchase that resource and consume that resource. Instead of spending, because information's cheap, books are cheap, courses are cheap, it's all cheap, right? But it's expensive in time, right? I only invest my time now when there's a clear need. Does that make sense? So that's what I recommend you guys do. As far as marketing diet, yeah, make sure that you guys are subscribing to good marketers that are selling to their niches. Listen to that stuff. Don't listen to marketers selling to marketers, because it's completely different than marketers selling to regular consumers. So sign up for those things. And then outside of your daily checklist, yeah, man, like those are the 3 books or 3 series I recommend you look at. Basically, everything else is kind of a waste of time. Should I move on to stage 14 if I got a 10% open rate or a 10 prospect mail merge? I'm not exactly sure what you're saying that you've achieved, but yes, once you've done the mission, you should move on. You don't have to have the 80% open rate. You don't have to have the 10% reply rate. You can, once you've performed the mission, you've done the quiz, then you can move on to the next channel. You're going to continue to improve your outreach for basically forever while you're in the program. While you're inside of your legion, you're continuing that until you get to experience. Once you dial that in, you can kind of shift some of your focus away from your outreach to other things. But when you're in your legion, when you're in the boot camp, yeah, just move on. It's going to be more important for you to get inside of a legion than to stay stuck inside the stages at that point. What happened to the platoons? They're going to be implemented. There's a slight tricky thing that needs to happen on the back end, but that's going to be implemented around the new, like Christmas time, New Year's. So we should have that in the next couple of days. It's on my list. It's high on my list. I think it's like number 2 on my list of things to do. Can you make a video going in depth about how you can layer your copy to make it trigger the emotion of the reader? I do talk about that. But yeah, I could talk more about layering and amplifying emotions. There's some more advanced techniques, but I do talk about that inside the PAS stuff, inside the short form copy. It's not that complicated. It's a pretty simple way to do it, but I can add some more content around that. Someone said, I've got a call tomorrow and it's my first call. He responds after my first reach out was, how much does this cost? What are some red flags and green flags? I tell you the exact way to respond to that inside the frequently asked questions. There's a way, like I get this question all the time. They ask about how much it costs or what my services are, experiences. There's a very clear way that I want you to respond. He's trying to establish frame control, and he's trying to pigeonhole you into a commodity, which is normal and natural for these guys to do. You just have to continue to act like the high level strategic marketer you are and push back in the correct way and ask questions in the correct way so that you can maintain frame. So go look at the frequently asked questions. How can I spend time as efficiently as possible within copywriting while also having basic duties in life? You need to just do what's on that checklist. You can do that checklist and cover your basic duties in life. I'm a father. I have 2 kids. I have a wife. I have roles and responsibilities outside of my work as a copywriter, outside of my work as a professor here in the real world. I have things that I do, and I manage all of those through just making sure I get the work done that I need to do every day. You can do it. You can make it happen. Unless you're like a full-time caretaker of your dying grandmother, you can make this happen. So, all right. Yes, but just focus on the list. Just dive in, do the list. Don't waste your time. I guarantee you that you spend time on Instagram, you spend time on social media, you spend time consuming mindless content at some point. Cut that stuff out. Use your time more efficiently. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. What else do we have? How can someone like me who just joined learn and start working as a copywriter? Can I change the profession later on? So how can you learn copywriting? Go through the boot camp. So the boot camp is designed. There's 14 stages. It teaches you everything you need to know, the core basics of how copywriting works, how to write persuasively, how to research, how to help any business, how to use AI. No, that's not added in the boot camp. There's a link to it. It's all inside the general resource, but I teach you how to do all that stuff inside the program. You're going to learn how to market extremely, extremely well, right? To different kinds of people. Any type of business, you'll be able to show up and help them learn how to market better, which means you can take that as a freelancer and you go out and find clients and help them. You can then scale that up, become an agency owner. You can then partner with these different businesses and become a business owner and own 50% of the profits or more that you generate from your marketing efforts. Or you can take this information and use it to launch your own programs later down the road. I teach you guys how to do all this stuff. So can you change your profession later on? Yeah, if you decide that copywriting isn't for you and you need to focus on, let's say, e-commerce or one of the other freelancing channels or something like that, yeah, I 100% recommend you guys find the best move for you and you focus on that. Leave copywriting, go do this other thing. I don't care. As long as you're 100% focused on the thing that's going to make you the most money, that's what it takes. You don't really want to switch around. If you look at copywriting, you're like, oh, it's a little too hard. I want to find an easier way to make money. That's a bad approach. Every way to make money is expensive in time and energy. If you want to make a certain income, it's going to cost a certain level of time and energy. It doesn't really matter which path you take. It's all going to be difficult, right? So if you spend a bunch of time in copywriting, trying to get that first client, it takes you forever. And you're like, oh, maybe it'll be easier to switch to freelancing. Then you're going to have to go through that same level of difficulty before you get to the reward point. Same thing with e-com. Same thing with any other form of making money. That initial difficulty of learning the basic skills so you can make that first money is always difficult. So don't switch it because it's difficult. Switch because it's a better fit for you. Like if you are under 18, I highly recommend you look at the freelancing campus and do the there's a make your first $100. I highly recommend you do that. It's easier for you from a financial and legal perspective. It's a lot faster for you guys to get started there. And then it's a great place for them to branch off back into copywriting or back into something else. Once you're able to get money coming in at that point, it's going to do massive things to increase your confidence and your ability to land business. So if you're under 18, I recommend you just straight away, I don't care how far you are in the program, go focus on the freelancing stuff. Go do that first $100. That's going to be a huge step for you. All right, let's take a look at some of the next questions. We still got plenty of time. This is good. The sand timer is good. Maybe we'll answer all of them. Let's see. How could someone like me? Okay, we just did that one. Someone said you need more REM sleep. That's helpful for people. For the new portions you added after the boot camp, are those only for advanced people and apprentices or everyone? Everyone's going to go through it. Once you've gone through the beginner boot camp, dive into the rest of the resources. So inside of the video mini trainings, I've got a bunch of really powerful trainings, including how to use AI, which is something I'm going to be talking about a lot more. I'll probably create more videos around that as well. But how to use AI is in there. There's a bunch of other stuff. The advanced influence content is extremely useful. Basically, once you hit stage 12, stage 14, once you hit stage 14, you need to go watch those. There's 14 quick videos where I talk about some high-level concepts you can apply to your outreach to make it more successful. I don't give you templates. I don't give you copy and paste things. I do give you things to help you think through how to come up with unique offers, how to reach out in a unique way, how to come up with free value, how to present yourself in the best light, how to control frame. I talk about a bunch of things that are really important. Once you hit about stage 14, once you get into a Legion, you have to watch that. If you're in the Legion and you haven't watched that, you need to. You're missing out. It's extremely helpful stuff. It's going to keep you from being stuck down here with a low perspective. It's going to give you a much higher perspective so you can make better choices and win as you do your outreach. All right. What would you do if you had some bad things happen to your life and you had to start all over again? Money aspect, relationships, you start all over again. I think bad things have happened to me over and over and over again. Even as the time that I've been a professor, bad things have happened to me. Difficult things have happened to me. Major difficult things have happened, but you guys haven't noticed at all, right? Because I've just done the work I needed to do, right? How you feel doesn't matter as much as what you're able to accomplish, right? When it comes time to perform, you have to perform. Emotions, they don't really matter. Yeah, you can just channel that to help you be more successful, right? Heartbreak is extremely powerful, right? Tate talks about this all the time. Heartbreak is the most powerful emotion you can channel to then go out and make more money, right? You just take that. Emotion is just energy. Bad things that happen is just energy. Things might change. You might lose all your money, whatever. You're still you. You still know what you need to do. You know what the right path is. You just got to do it, right? Doesn't matter. Sitting around and complaining and crying about it will do zero for you, right? Sitting on a couch, talking about your problems will do zero to change your life. Action will change your life. If you find yourself, if I woke up tomorrow and I lost all my money, I was completely gone, homeless, with nothing in the entire world, I would be back to making money within a month. Easy. I've got a network I can tap into, but even if I didn't have that, I would show up at a public library. I would work on a computer until I had earned some money. I would shower or clean myself in a public bathroom. I don't care. I will find a way to win. I don't care. I wouldn't sit around crying about it. Sure, I probably wouldn't be terribly happy, but that wouldn't affect what I do. I would do what I need to do to be successful, right? Whenever bad things happen, you just need to do what you can and just do it as best as you can, right? You're going to be sad. You're going to grieve, but you can just go out and just do the work you need to do. That's how I've approached it. So it's extremely important. Let's see here. Do you recommend tapping into niches popular with girls since they are more agreeable, like beauty productions, fat loss, etc.? You can. There's a lot of niches out there. Some of them where they are primarily driven by women. There's pros and cons with that, but yeah, you can definitely test it out. I've made a lot of money working with those type of niches. So All right. Why is it highly encouraged for students under 18 to focus on the first $100 course in the freelancing campus instead of focusing on copywriting? So there's a couple different reasons, right? There's a level of maturity that you haven't developed yet that makes it slightly, like some people can. There's maybe like 1% of you guys who are under 18. Like some of you 16 to 17-year-olds, or some of you guys who can be mature about this and can be successful. But a lot of you guys lack a level of maturity and life experience. So it makes it more difficult for you to write intelligently, right? Your ability to write as a writer comes a lot from your quality of life experience, right? You need to go out and have an interesting life. Outside of doing your checklist, you need to go live an interesting life. And a lot of you guys are a little young to really reach out and understand a wide scope of life. So that's one part of it, right? The other part is you're usually having to collect money under your parents' name. And sometimes that can be difficult to set up, right? You have to have them set up a Stripe account or whatever. It's a little harder to do when you're under 18. When you're over 18, you can set up a bank account, set up Stripe. You can set all that stuff up really, really easily. So that's another reason. And also the make $100, like to make your first $100, obviously you're gonna make more than $100. Like you're gonna make several $100s a month if you apply that really well, which is a good amount of money for you guys. It's gonna give you a good foundation of business and transaction and demand and supply. And it's gonna give you a good understanding that you can then leverage into some of these other methods, right? I'm not gonna stop you from staying in the campus if you're under 18. I'm just gonna recommend you go do that. If you're under 18 and you're confident that you can write intelligently, that you can collect money effectively, that you can decide to be confident enough on a sales call to come off as a professional, if you feel like that's you, then by all means do it. I'm not going to tell you not to. But I will recommend that if you are under 18, you at least look at make your first $100 boot camp or course inside of the freelancing campus, because that's going to be most likely your best move based on those 4 or 5 factors I just described. So you can hate that and like try and fight against it, but I'm just telling you, like, that's going to be probably most likely your most effective step forward. How can you find prospects on Twitter? You follow the how to find prospects on Twitter video I share inside of the bootcamp. Thanks again for the advice on the second step lead gen idea the other day. I'm going for it, Drago. Good. Keep on, Drago. Can you make a video going into depth about how you can layer your, yep, we already asked that question. SMS is fire. Yes, we guys are doing SMS for stuff. Let's see. What other questions do we have? What was my first paying gig, Andrew? So my first paying gig ever as an entrepreneur was, I was like 20 something. I went door to door and I was talking with local businesses, and I found a used car salesman, and he paid me $300 to take photos of different cars he wanted and list them on this like Craigslist alternative for the state I was in and help them sell cars. So that was the first ever paid gig. That's the first time I ever collected money for myself ever. He wrote me a check for $300. It's cool. My first paid gig as a copywriter was I wrote 2 emails for a really small business in the like spiritual healing niche. And I got paid like $80 for it. That was my first ever copywriting gig. It was awesome. First one, got him some results. And then I leveraged that to get my next client and then snowballed from there. So yeah, that was my first ever paid gig as a copywriter. It goes over outreach. Okay. How do you overcome lost hope? Ooh, that's an interesting one. Lost hope. Lost hope is something I have never had to deal with, I think, ever, really. And I'm going to tell you why. Because there might be a moment where you feel like there's not a lot of hope in the future, but that it's 100% based on your attention, that you're like where you're putting your attention and what your personal beliefs are, right? If you create in your mind a negative movie of the world going terrible and everything going bad, and you focus on that, you're not going to feel very much hope. But the thing is, you have the ability to change what you focus on. Whenever things are bad and things look glim or terrible, I create a movie where everything's working right, and I focus my attention on that. I focus on what I can do, and I attack that. I always believe that I have power to influence my world. I will never believe anything other than that. And I've always believed that for as long as I can possibly remember. Like since I was a little kid, I've always believed that I have the ability to create the future in life that I want. I have ability right now to take actions that are going to improve my life. If you focus on that and you have that belief, you always have hope. No matter how bad things are, you know that you can always find a way. I don't care what happens globally, politically, I don't care. Zombie apocalypse, I don't care. I have hope that I will be able to win because I know who I am. I know that I always do what needs to be done. I know that I can rise to the occasion. I always have hope, right? And at the bare minimum, I can turn off the emotions that I don't need and just focus on the work I need to do, right? I got a black eye, right? And some of you guys might have noticed I have a black eye. I did a Shark Tank sparring session at the end of some stuff that I was doing. And it was like 20 guys. I did 1 minute rounds with them, and they were fresh. They were like professional fighters involved, right? And I did it for 20 minutes straight, and it was difficult. And I realized that it wasn't going to end. And I just decided, okay, I'm doing this until I die. And I just did the work and just stayed in there and kept moving forward, kept throwing punches. I got hit, obviously, right? But I stayed in the game and I moved forward and I gave just as well as I got. So losing hope is a choice. You only lose hope if you choose to lose hope. I choose to always have hope because I choose to believe in myself. I choose to believe in my ability to influence the world. And I focus on that. I don't spend any of my time and energy focusing on anything besides the things that I control. That's what gives you power. So many people focus on things they can't control. And then they start to feel impotent. You can see it, right? These are like the guys that focus on politics and the West is dying. People that focus on that, they feel like they don't have control over their world because they're focusing on things they don't have control on. If instead you focus on the things you can control and you feel powerful, and over time, the things that you can't control expands, right? It's a key aspect in life. If you focus on things that you can control and you control them, you will feel powerful. If you feel powerful, then you're able to do way more than if you focus on things you can't control. If you want to have hope, focus on things you control, do the work you need to do, and that's all you need to do. So hope that's helpful for you. How many hours per day do you work? I work from the time I wake up until the time I sleep. So I work from probably 6:30, 7 a.m. until like 7 p.m. Like that's my main work sessions. I spend some time with the family for a couple hours, which is work. And then I do some more work before I go to bed, 10, 11 p.m. So I don't know, a lot of hours, as many as I possibly can. And when I'm awake, I'm working. When I'm awake, I'm doing things that are going to improve my life. I do the work I need to do every single day. It doesn't matter. Everyone I know at the top level, they just work all the time. That's what you do. Sure, maybe you'll pause for an hour or two to go create some stories, create some adventures, but still work, still stuff that's going to push you forward. So yeah, when you're awake, you're working. Let's see here. Hey, Andrew, I kept overthinking too much that sometimes I spend too much time to finish all the G mission. Sometimes I end up giving up because it's hard and I procrastinate. Tips for an overthinker: stop thinking and start doing. You know what you need to do. Overthinkers they're procrastinating because they're afraid. It's cowardice, right? Overthinking is, you already know what you need to do, but you try and figure out different things you can think about or problems or factors you can consider. And it's all just to delay and push off doing the actual work you need to do. You know what you need to do. Just do the work, right? And that's one of the reasons we have the daily checklist. You know what you need to do. You just do it every single day. That's all, right? If you cut the time between thought and action down, there's no time for overthinking. There's no time for fear, and you just do the work, right? So you know what you need to do. As an overthinker, you already know what you need to do. You're just being a coward and not doing what you need to do. Choose to be brave. Choose to feel the fear and the anxiety about having to do the work and just sit down and do the work anyways. That's the only way you overcome that. I had to overcome that. Everyone has to overcome that. That's part of life. Someone asked, do we become an apprentice after our first client, or how does that process work? I want to make the most out of the real world and I have my first call tomorrow, and I want support as I progress. Okay, how do we choose apprentices? There's a fairly clear path for apprentices. I only choose apprentices that have been in the program for 6 months, right? I want to make sure they're here, that they're committed to the program. I only choose apprentices who I see who are actively helping other students. Yes, they have to have clients. Yes, they have to be successful themselves. That's a given, right? But I have to see that they are actively helping other people inside the program for like 6 months before I even decide that I want to extend the invitation as an apprentice, right? Once you're an apprentice, you get special access to me. I review all of your copy at least once a week. I do weekly calls with them. I answer their questions. I give them as much support as I can. I help them through tricky negotiations with their clients. I help them upgrade their clients to move to bigger and better projects to where they're making $10,000 a month. I give them a significant amount of my time and energy, and then they go and give you a significant time of their energy, right? That's how it works. But I only choose people who have been in the program and dedicated, right? I only want someone who's willing to grind it out over a long period of time. I don't want someone who's just come in for a little bit and really excited for a little bit, but then burns out too soon. I want to make sure they have staying power. So that's sort of the criteria. I'm going to be adding a video where I outline that a little bit more to the beginning of the chat. I think today, that's one of my top things on my list. So we'll get to that. How big are platoons? They haven't been added yet, but basically you take your legion and divide it into 3. That's how big your platoons are going to be. And then you'll be able to create squads underneath that. What advice do I give to your kids? A lot of the same advice I give you. Right now, my sons are fairly young. The oldest is 4. So the biggest thing that I help my son do is I help him understand that he doesn't get things, he earns things. everything in life that he wants, he has to do work. He has to do important things to earn those things, right? I teach them to be strong. We train together. They come and work out. They lift kettlebells with me. They punch the heavy bag with me. They go to the MMA gym with me. They do everything with me to understand that that's what they do. A lot of the advice that I give you guys is advice I will give my sons as they grow older. So, but the main thing right now with my sons and where they are is I teach them to be brave. I teach them to be strong, and I teach them they have to earn the things that they want in life. They have to do the work to earn the reward. So many kids in life, they are given so many things without ever earning those things, and they never learn that work or rewards are attached to work. My kids are going to learn that from a very young age, and they're learning that now. So that in the future, when they're older and they're in your situation, they're starting to make their first money online, they'll realize, oh, if I want this reward, if I want this giant reward, that means I have to put in the giant amount of work to earn that. So that's one of the biggest advice I give my sons. Is it a good idea to spend one of your practices to one of your prospects for them to test and turn to get a testimonial? Yeah, of course. That's one of the things I just explained in the daily checklist. So if you just joined the chat, go back and watch that. So how do we find our clients, customer base, if they give us bare minimum information? Also, once we have the info, how do we use that in our copy? Go back and watch the research video, because I tell you exactly how to do that. Obviously, you ask them about their ideal customer, you get as much information as possible. But if you don't have that, then you go outside and you research in the big wild world. How you use that, I already tell you how to use that and how to take all that research and apply it to write fascinations, to write the copy. Their language around their desires, their dreams, their fears, their problems, all that stuff, that's the ammunition. That's the base upon which everything else goes, right? Like that's, you can almost copy and paste some of that stuff in there. But go back and watch the research video because I talk about it. Ooh, $1 super chat or whatever this is called in Rumble. Is watching Tate's YouTube podcast and Twitter posts over or considered wasting time? No, if you're just sitting there and just actively watching it and you haven't done your checklist, you probably are wasting time. But you can do that. You can definitely do that during the tedious part. Like if you're just copying and pasting or prospecting, you can usually listen to something in the background. The minute you have to actually start writing words or thinking in words, you can't really listen to stuff in the background. You can listen to that stuff while you train, and you can listen to that stuff after you completed your daily checklist. I get a lot of value. I watch this stuff. I listen to stuff. It's extremely valuable for me. It's given me a lot of insights, but I manage when I do it, when I'm driving or when I'm doing other things where I don't need to use that part of my brain. All right. Good question, though. Prince, whatever. We're getting pretty close. We're not completely done, but when that timer's done, I'm going to end this. If you have questions, you can ask me in the Ask Professor channel. I'll get to them. So, hi, Andrew. I've just signed up for the real world. I need for copywriting to work, so I am forcing myself to put in 100% into this. Make sure there are no excuses. Thank you for the guidance. Okay, not a question, just a compliment. Awesome, G. Just use the daily checklist and you'll make it. Welcome to the program. I put a lot of time and energy and thought into this, so I'm excited that you're here. Use it. It's made a lot of people a lot of money, so dive in. Someone says, Andrew, I want to build a Twitter so that I can build a brand around myself and land clients that way too. I'm still doing normal outreach, but I want to implement a Twitter as well. Do you think this is, and it cuts off, I think it's a good idea. Yes, you should do it as a supplement. Building a brand takes a lot longer than your outreach does, right? You're going to get fruit from doing your outreach faster than you can from your brand. But once you have your brand, that's a powerful way to start landing clients. Dylan Madden has a lot of information about how to build a Twitter and build a brand. So definitely look at his stuff, follow that advice, but do it as a supplement to the main checklist items that you're doing every day. Okay, let's see. Is watching Tate? Yeah. So we already asked that question. Yeah. Just make sure you mix it in. Don't spend 2 hours doing it. Make sure you get your work done. You might have to watch some of his videos in chunks. It's all big deal. No problem. All right. Someone say, hi, Andrew. I'm doing well in binary options and also learning copywriting, but I find binary options better suited for me. So should I put that more in binary options? So you're talking about the options course? Yeah. If you're in the situation where options trading is your best thing, you need to focus on that so you can master that, right? You can't do two things well. It's better to, what's the classic saying? Instead of half-assing two things, it's better to whole-ass one thing, right? If instead of like half doing two things, it's way better. It's like 4 times more effective just to focus on one thing. So if you're in one situation here, it's better that you spend all of your time and energy focusing on options and ignore copywriting than try and do both. So pick one and focus on that. And if it's options, by all means, cool. Leave the copywriting campus. It's been nice to have you here. Go do the work inside of the binary options trading. All right. So someone says, I'm experiencing difficulty with outreach and prospecting concerning time and managing the best way possible. I've checked out every video you have in the Legion, made about that. Any advice? So it's extremely open-ended, your question. There's not a lot of context. As far as time management goes, I teach a lot of that inside of the Stage 2 chat and the bonus video where I talk about time management. A lot of time management problems is usually just a skill problem. There's a part of the process that you don't know how to do very well, and it's taking a lot of time. You need to identify that and take some time to develop that skill so you can be better at it. The checklist is going to help you do the things you need to do every single day. That's the standard. Rise to the standard. But managing your time, a whole lot of that is about watching those videos. I don't know your exact situation. I don't know what part of time management you're having a difficulty with, so I can't fully answer your questions. What I'm going to recommend you do is you go inside the Ask Professor Andrew channel and give me more context about your thing, and I will answer your question inside of there. All right, guys, we've reached the end of the sand timer. It's over. The time is completed for this live Q&A that we've done right now. So if you asked a question and I didn't get to answer it, take that question, copy and paste it, maybe improve it a little bit by giving me more context, and drop inside of the Ask Professor Andrew channel. I get to all those things within at least once every 24 hours. I go through, I clear all of them out, answer all the questions. Sometimes I'm going to point you to frequently asked questions. Sometimes I'm going to point you to different parts of the course because usually those answers are already there. But I answer every single question. And at least half the questions are decent questions. They give me the full context. And I dive in, give them the full answer there. So go ask your questions inside of that program. We've got a lot of things coming this week. We're going to do a live copy review call, maybe tomorrow. I'm going to check announcements. I'm going to be dropping a bunch of powerful things in there. I'm going to have the daily checklist is going live in the next 20 minutes inside of the program. We've got a lot of things coming. It might be the week of Christmas, but that doesn't really mean anything to people who are serious. I mean, I'm going to take some time to spend some time with my family for Christmas, but I'm still going to continue to push forward and achieve way more than the guys who take the time off completely. So, guys, it's great to be back. It's great to be back at home base. It's great to be doing these live calls where we can interact. I'm going to make sure that the future calls we do are a lot more interactive than they were in the past. So it's been great. It's been a great call. It's been a little longer than normal. I will talk with you guys again tomorrow. Talk with you guys inside the chat the rest of the day. Let's get going.